Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Ryan.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am feeling nostalgic, Rachel.
Aw, reflective.
Reflective. I'm remembering things from
The
the
Cant?
past. No, not that. No, not that at all. Nope. No, thank
The
you.
Gaunt Belter?
Yes. Did you know 10 years ago he was not gaunt? He was a thick, bulky guy. And I guess in between then and the first season, second season, he got gaunt. And then he bulked up again for the final season, and it's, whatever, man. Like, just don't notice that we credited him as Gaunt Belter. Only you noticed that, Yum Yum Podcast. How could you? How could you? But we could, and we do, and we did. And Rachel, how are you doing overall?
All right. This mini-sode, like, I don't get why.
We had to fill out the order of 5. So we had one left over.
We had this set, so
We brought back some season 1 actors.
yeah. And,
We shaved Steven Strait, so we've got to use that.
Yeah.
How about
that
you?
makes him look 10 years younger.
Yeah, 10 years younger, he would have just looked like he did in Sky High. So he would have looked exactly like Warren Peace, the great character of Sky High, the son of both a villain and a hero. Which is he? Is he one or the other? Could he be both? He has fire powers and long hair.
Talking about it.
Well, you could tell us the title of this one ship and the description.
Is described as
Yes, it's described as snorts, chuckles, and guffaws. That's actually the description. Holden snorts, chuckles, guffaws.
Holden reflects.
Is that it? Holden reflects.
Holden reflects.
Yeah? Like physically reflects something thrown at him?
Moment.
He reflects a moment
And changed his life.
that changed his life. Holden reflects a moment that changed, or on a moment that changed his life. He sure did. He sure did. What a one ship to end the season on. Has me.
I didn't need this at all.
It didn't get me super pumped for the finale.
No.
Maybe the finale will
It
be.
changes nothing.
Oh, how could you say that? Now we know how he got his job.
But we already knew that he just kind of fell into it.
Yeah, but now we saw it, so now it means
Yes.
something. Because we saw it, that
Because
means
his
it's real.
EXO was tired of being
Bullied by belters for having glass cats on a bar table. Yeah, I mean it's real. It's real
Was
relatable.
that just purely there so that we remembered who he was?
Yeah, of course. No joke. If you didn't have the glass cats thing there, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that was the same character. And then it did that, and I was like, oh, it's the same character. Oh, that's neat. And then, it must be the same actor. Why would they bring this character back? Oh, it is the same actor. Oh, that's lovely. So that's neat detail. The Gaunt Belter was there at the bar, drinking, having a good time. I actually found it unbelievable that he was just casually drinking. He should have been doing a rallying cry about something that would have helped us understand that so much has changed, and yet nothing has changed in the belts. But that would require him to be paid more because that would be lines of dialogue. So these one ships have been a roller coaster ride of quality and purpose.
I think this is the most useless one for me. Like, the one with Avasalara, it gave us a little bit more context for why she goes to Monica to ask Monica to do the investigations and for the war effort, and also introduces the medication that we then see her taking a couple of episodes later. this one, I really mean it when I say nothing for me about the show, about the character, has changed because I watched this one. And coming off the back of the last one, which we both fucking loved.
It was too good to be a short.
Yeah, this feels like a waste of my fucking time.
It's 4 minutes.
And it felt like a fucking waste of time. And energy and resources and potentially a razor or some electricity to shave Stephen.
Poor Stevie. Maybe he likes being clean shaved. Maybe being Holden's tough for him. Okay, so let's break it down more succinctly. So this short has Holden in the modern day arrive. He's on Sirius Station and he's looking at something.
Bumps into Monica.
Monica bumps into him, and they're both looking at something, and they're having a discussion
in her
about
Zenobia.
Yes,
jumpsuit.
in her Zenobia jumpsuit. And they're both looking at a wall. We don't see it. And she asks, like, what would he think of all of this? And Holden talks about how, probably, should just keep out of it. Keep your head down. Don't get involved. All of that. And then we turn the camera around, and it's the graffiti from season 1 of James Holden with Remember the Cant. And I want to stop right there.
Mm-hmm.
That conversation, that back and forth, and the reveal of what he's looking at was the meaning that this short was getting at, that the rest of it just was wasting time doing. That moment was the most powerful, poignant thing about the short.
Okay,
if you cut the short off right there, I would have been satisfied.
I have a question.
I actually would have been satisfied as like, that's a deleted scene that's on the Blu-ray. Not, this is an actual short.
I wonder if, I think I would have liked it better if their editing was a little bit different, which would have made it probably like more cliche for certain, and plenty of other people wouldn't like it. But if we didn't have that whole scene at the start, and that like it cuts during that moment, that conversation,
to the
flashes
flashback.
back, and then it cuts to Holden answering Monica's question.
I can see
because then it would have added more weight to what we saw in the past, and the sort of reconfirming and recontextualizing that statement as part of him reflecting and being maybe a little bit ashamed of who he was. I think that would have made it more interesting.
Or nostalgic for who he was, because he doesn't want to be the guy he is now either.
No.
He's someone that's never wanted to be who he is, and he's always running away, and he's always finding an opportunity to abdicate who he is. And I agree, but your discussion there gets to the heart of the matter. The flashback material is not compelling enough. We cut back to 10 years earlier, and the guy running the Canterbury sees Holden talking to a bunch of belters in a very free-flowing, natural way. Holden's young, giggly,
telling
silly.
A story about
one time he fucked up, and it was a silly one. It was like, I didn't have pants, and he had my pants, and then I didn't know how to say, give me my pants, or whatever it is.
Didn't have the phrase for like,
so
right
he just
now, so he gestured
to his penis, and then the person's like, no, thank you.
I'm married. No.
I'm married. Here's a towel, though. And that was funny, but nothing great. And then, yes, the captain offers him, the XO offers him a job on the Cant. He refuses it because I don't need anything. I'm doing just fine. And then the captain, the XO phrases it in a way that is very appealing to James Holden at that time, which is, you want to slack off, be forgotten, and just get paid for doing jack shit? And Holden's like, yeah. My favorite part of that was the background belter being like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Pay me. I'll do it. I could do that. And what is there to say about this? The other ones, even Win or Lose, which is just fan service, had some stuff to say. There was like camera moves, fight choreography, banter. This is just it's nice that they got 2 of the season 1 actors back and made Stephen Strait look young.
Yep. They reused this. I'm fairly certain it's the set where Philip killed his friend.
Yes.
I was distracted by that when we were watching it because I was like, "Is this?" Yeah, it is.
Oh, of course. That's where they all drink.
Yeah, that one tiny bar on the big station.
Well, Miller used to go to another bar that was indoors, like
yeah.
Back, but we don't talk about that.
No, we don't have that set no more.
We don't have that set no more. But what does this do in terms of making us think back on who Holden has been or who he was, and or what does this do in terms of being an origin story?
Nothing. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be a very good podcast co-host for this because to me this is so insubstantial. It doesn't tell me anything new about Holden. I knew that he was running away from the idea of responsibility and that he has always held the conviction that people are just people.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that rather directly to the XO.
In case you didn't know.
But then he also, like, he accepts the job, which we know he was going to do. And that he will become very comfortable on the Cant and in this sort of bubble.
Yeah.
But it's just like, well, we don't get any feeling for the Belters that he's surrounded with, what he was doing at that point, because I've forgotten how he got to Ceres before he got to the Cant.
Sure. You didn't need an answer to it directly.
No.
You could just infer.
Yeah.
People travel.
Yeah. But, like, he's saying no to a job, so I assume that he has a job.
Mm-hmm. No, he just sleeps around.
Yeah.
He gets by in his handsome,
like
young looks.
Like, how has he managed to ingratiate himself in with these Belters? Because he doesn't seem to know them super well, but they've accepted him, but they're not, like, everybody's rejecting the XO from the Cant.
You know why? You know why he succeeds? And it's not just because he's, on their level and he's a chill dude. Because you know what you would describe season 1 Holden? Yeah, you would totally describe him as charming. Like, that's the thing that blew my mind was, people find him charming in this timeline. In this first season, he was an irritable little weirdo that everyone found annoying. And maybe that's just what goes on from there. But, like, I just found it very funny. It's like, Jim Holden. Young Jim Holden. Charm is not the word you'd actually use to describe or perform it. But no, I got not much out. What I did get out of it was me thinking about the production. And just thinking, why did they make these one ships? Why are they here? What's the purpose? What do I get out of these? Which is a flip from some of the others.
It's another fucking example of they feel resentful that Holden's the protagonist. Because it feels like it's an obligation to have a Holden
one ship.
Yeah. And what can you do with that that's not important to the plot? So we get this.
Why couldn't we get him having sex? Honestly, it would be more rewarding than this. It would be a callback to how we met him, and a comeback too. But I have nothing else to say. This is a yum.
It's a yum.
Yeah. This. No. Before we completely go, there's no more one ships. They're done. This is it.
Yep.
We're now hurtling towards the finale of the series itself. I just want to ruminate for a brief moment about these one ships. Now that we're done with them, did they meet expectations? Did they satisfy you? And how do you feel about them as a piece of the Expanse series and content?
They still stick out like a sore thumb. And like you were saying in the last episode where we were discussing one, they really run the gamut of webisode things. And this one just continues that.
They either justified or a complete waste of time. They're either too crucial to the actual show itself, not crucial enough or ones that are not crucial enough where you can enjoy it on its own and can add extra flavor, or garbage. This was garbage. I thought this one was
garbage.
I thought this one was actively bad. I've
let's
enjoyed
rank
some.
them.
Oh yes, let's rank them. So let's hear from number 1 to 5.
Oh, I thought you would want to start bottom to top.
Fine, bottom to top. Remember the Cant?
Remember the Cant.
What do you have as number 4?
I'm like now trying to remember what it was called. Give me a second. Sorry.
Wow, I thought you had yourself ready. You were all like, let's do this, and then whiff it.
I'm gonna go Zenobia.
That is Christian.
Yeah.
Zenobia is my number 4 as well. It was fine. It just feels like a deleted scene more than being justified as a short. So number 3.
Win or lose.
Win or lose. That's you and I, same place. Are we going to keep going with number 2 and number 1? What's your number 2? Is it the same as mine?
Koala.
Yeah, that's mine too. And then
Night Watch is 1.
Night Watch is number 1. We're aligned, as is the case often times. Mm-hmm. Why those rankings overall? Like, why are we so in tune with each other with this? Like, why does it go like that?
I think it roughly matches up with the scale of most interesting and adding more depth to the main story to most useless and adding nothing.
Correct. The first 2 feel as if they are responses and answers to things that are left dangling in the series, while the others are not. Like, I don't need to actually know that Christian talks to her grandchildren at this point. It's far beyond. We've talked about that. And this one, I don't need to know how James Holden got his job and like how he feels about that now. That's a piece of dialogue. It doesn't need to be a 5-minute short. And that's it. That's our 1 ships. The next discussion that will come out in regards to our Expanse coverage will be on the finale, the final episode. That's the one up next. And then after that, we have some recaps. And then after that, some very special things coming down. So make sure to tune in, make sure to support us and follow us and keep a keen eye on what we're up to. Rachel, out of all of the characters in the Expanse, living or dead, who would you have wanted a 1 ship from that we did not get? This has been asked, but now we're at the end of the road and we're here to think about it yet again. Who do you have? The Gaunt Belter did appear in one.
Yes. Yes, he did. And I really like the idea that it was just filmed the same time. Like, they didn't get him back for a second day.
Oh, we're not doing 2 days. We're not doing 2.
No.
Maybe we'll switch your shirt out, but we're not doing 2. So you're deflecting. Do you have a pick?
I would have been quite intrigued by the idea of doing one on the ship above Laconia.
Oh, you just want to know what's going on up there.
I fucking
Because
do.
you know that we're not going to find out jack shit.
I do.
You know in your
But,
heart.
I also like the idea because each of them have like the narration that connects it to the idea
So it's
of
Cortazar.
the one ship, and his point of view on the one ship idea, I think,
Would be insane.
Yes,
it
would be fun.
I have a one ship in mind. There's not a specific character. It's a faction that we haven't seen in a while. I want to cut to the Mormons.
You want more of the Mormons. You always want more of the Mormons.
I do genuinely want to know what the Mormon reaction to all of this is. Did it shake the faith? Did it make them more excited? Like, is their world that they've mapped out one of the ones in the system that they could travel off to? Like, how have they been since the Nauvoo, the thing that was supposed to be, their ark, has been turned into the biggest weapon station, like big chokehold point of humanity right now? Like, I want to know what the Mormons got up to. I want at least one or two, or like them having something, and their one ship really could have been fun for that, in which it's not needed in the series per se, but if you're a fan of the show and you want a little bit of closure or touching base with it, it works. That would have been great. It's like the only faction I really want to come back to and be like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
We never got to know. Well, Rachel, I know you're on bated breath to just start watching the last episode of The Expanse. So we better jump off of this record and get going before we get too sleepy thinking about Jimmy Holden growing his beard out over the years. It took Holden 10 years to grow that beard. Like, he's never shaved. It took that long. He's a slow grower.
He's a shower, not a grower.
Now Earthers know what it feels like to be Belter.